Good morning, church. How are y'all doing? Good. It's always good to be in a UU church the day after a nationwide protest of millions and millions. That feels... Yes. And so that was me thinking about something I wanted to say, but I'll save it for the sermon. As we center ourselves and enter into this sacred time, let us center our hearts on the quality of compassion, which is our Soul Matters theme for the month. Our hymn of the month, which also lifts up these connections between forgiveness, atonement, and compassion, is We Laugh, We Cry, and invites us to consider the many ways our connections provides inroads to compassion. So let us rise in body or spirit together and share our opening hymn, verses 1 and 4. We welcome you, who you are and whomever you love and whatever brings you here. I'm Reverend Bret and my pronouns are he, him, his. Our worship team this morning includes Lindsay, our Director of Religious Education, Tim, our Music Director, our choir, and Keith is running the sound this morning in the back, and Linda is serving as our worship associate. If you are here in person, please do join us after the worship service for coffee hour in Deal Hall, which is right across the lobby. If you're online, do like, connect, subscribe, all that stuff, and share the worship service. If this is your first day worshiping with us, online or in person, we are thrilled that you are here. I hope you find what you are looking for. Let us also know who you are and how we can be in touch with you. Let us worship together. We begin with the prayers of the people, the naming of joy and sorrow, the holding in heart of those we love. We hold in our hearts those recovering from illness and experiencing maladies of body or soul. May mercy and healing attend them. I invite you in this space to name those aloud or in silence who you are holding in your heart. Would you turn now and greet your neighbor in fellowship? Come into this moment, stepping into a garden at dawn, quiet, tender, open to what may grow. Let compassion be the flower we bend toward. We return as if returning to the soil, hands in the dirt, willing to tend what needs tending. Here today we gather to remember that the most delicate blooms require daily care. The attention is the water of love that we are still learning how to care. Come, let us begin again in love, tending the garden of the heart and the heart of compassion.
start school. Still, Penelope was determined to have a good first day. She tried hard to make friends at recess. She finger-painted some of her best work. She even saved Griffin Emery a seat at lunch. Penelope started to notice everyone was making friends but her. It was lonely. When she got home, her dad asked her about her first day of school. "I didn't make any friends." Penelope cried. "None of the kids wanted to play with me." "Penelope Rex," her father asked, "did you eat your classmates?" "Well, maybe sort of just a little bit." "Sometimes it's hard to make friends," said her dad, "especially if you eat them." "You see, Penelope, children are just the same as us on the inside, just tastier." That gave Penelope a lot to think about. The next day, Penelope tried really hard. But poor Penelope, she could not stop herself from eating her classmates. "Mrs. Noodleman, Penelope ate William Amato again." And they were all afraid of her. Except Walter. Walter was a goldfish. So Penelope tried to make friends with him. "Will you be my friend?" "Chomp!" "Eee!" cried Penelope. "He's eating my finger." Once Penelope found out what it was like to be someone's snack, she lost her appetite for children. She stopped eating her classmates, even when Cece Woodman spilled barbecue sauce all over herself. And soon Penelope made friends. Now, even when children look especially delicious, she peeks at Walter and remembers what it's like when someone tries to eat you. And Walter the goldfish stares right back at her and licks his lips because dinosaurs are delicious. And if you'll join us in singing the first verse of This Little Light of Mine, we'll head downstairs.
And that's the thought to remember from that children's story is that you might remember as we talk about the sermon, doing unto others as they would have you do unto them. And yes, we continue. So announcements. I do hope that you're subscribed to the Kairos, our weekly newsletter. Be sure to read it for announcements and about upcoming events. I guess a first announcement is we are working on the sound system. These cords, I believe, were installed with the building in 1964. They are 20th century. We are slowly rooting them out as if they were roots in the ground. So, but you know, I appreciate your patience as we go with new cords and wireless and all the wonderful bells and whistles. How about that? That's the first time I saw it. Worth waiting for. All right, so this week I would like to highlight, I'm starting something just kind of ad hoc. I'm going to call it the Coffee Chancel Chat. But after the service, after I've done the greeting, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee and then come in here and sit down. And it's an opportunity to talk about some themes in the sermon. I have some questions that we can talk about, or the interim process, or just a chance to get to know each other, kind of in a little small group format. Not too long either. It's not going to be an hour. It's going to be just, little chat. Starting October 27th, Monday is starting point. So if you're new to this whole Unitarian Universalist UU journey, it's an opportunity to meet with others and get your journey going. Saturday, October 25th at Unity Temple in Oak Park is a multiracial, intersectional, anti-racism training. I have done these. They're awesome. I really encourage you, if you're interested in this work, that will be Saturday, October 25th. November 15th, I think that's up there, is the, no, it's not. Oh yeah, at the top, the annual auction. I'm looking forward to it. And then November 21st will be the holiday tree lighting and dinner. So each month, we are highlighting the activities of one of our Faith in Action teams. I forgot your last name, Lily Christensen. is coming here this morning from our Sex and Justice team, and so I want to invite Lily up to come and tell you what they are doing. And use this mic. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Lily, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Sorry, I gotta look at my notes. Today I'm here on behalf of the Sex and Gender Justice team. The Sex and Gender Justice team meets the fourth Sunday of every month, and we would love to have you join us. Today we share the plate with Midwest Reproductive Health, which is an independent abortion clinic based here in Rockford that is committed to providing confidential, compassionate, safe, and accessible reproductive health care to everyone. This past Wednesday, the 15th, we had a wonderful Wednesday at the clinic. We were honored to visit the clinic to receive a tour of the facilities and speak with the director and gain insights into the challenges of providing abortion services in today's environment. During our time at the clinic, we also learned that the clinic never turns away any clients for inability to pay, which is pretty awesome. Sorry, I lost my... We were also impressed by the lengths to which the staff will go to take care of the emotional well-being and dignity of their clients. We now take up an offering to support the work of justice and mercy in the world. 80% of what we collected today will go to Midwest Reproductive Health. Thank you for your generosity. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
The Platinum Rule by Timber Hawkeye. When my friend was hired to work the reception desk of a popular hotel, prior to answering phones and booking rooms, they had him spend a month doing everything from house cleaning to room service, laundry, bellhop, and so on. The idea was it's crucial for everyone on staff to understand everyone else's job. Whenever a manager asked for something to be done, they knew exactly what was involved and how much time it would take. There was camaraderie amongst everyone working together toward the same goal rather than working for one another in an endless power struggle, almost like a caste system that nobody talked about. The golden rule with which many of us were raised, to treat others as we would want to be treated, is an outdated model. The Platinum Rule, on the other hand, invites us to treat others the way they want to be treated. And we can never know how they want to be treated unless we ask. If we don't get curious about other perspectives, we run the risk of thinking we are actually right about something, or worse yet, thinking we are superior to someone else. I remember the time my car broke down in a foreign country and I was stranded on the side of the road with a dead cell phone. All I wanted was for anyone to help. I watched all the passing motorists zoom by and longed for some connection with anyone kind enough to pull over. If you were in that situation and someone pulled over to offer their help, you wouldn't ask them who they voted for, if they believed in Jesus, or Moses, or Muhammad, or if they identified as male, female, or neither. You would just say, thank you. When it comes to connection, none of the stuff we think matters ends up mattering at all. You would just say thank you. Connection is the key to compassion. Compassion is the key to empathy. Let's use them to come together because of our common humanity. Humankind. Human. Kind. Be both.
I have been a certified school nurse for 35 years. In addition to first aid and medication administration, school nurses are health educators, care coordinators, mental health support, social workers, emergency preparedness coordinators, and special services team members, problem solving and creatively planning for ways to help struggling students be successful. Along the way with these services, I found a love for working with students with special needs. School is difficult for these students. They are confronted daily with what they can't do and how they don't fit in. I loved getting to know them as unique individuals and figuring out how to help them be as successful as possible. Most of these families wanted desperately for their child to fit in and be successful. They just needed someone to guide them through this process. 26 years ago, a parent of a boy with spina bifida asked me how to get her son involved in Special Olympics. We discovered that the Rockford Public Schools did not have a Special Olympics team, so she and I co-founded the RPS team. Over the 24 years that I was the team's head coach, I met some amazing kids and families. Helping these kids to be part of a group where they were accepted for who they are brought me great pleasure. Imagine the athletes' joy when on picture day, they were called down along with other school groups to have their team picture taken for the yearbook. They felt like they belonged. Students with special needs taught me many valuable lessons about caring and compassion. They taught me you don't always have to know the answers. Just be honest and compassionate in the problem-solving process. There is no place for pity. It only makes them feel worse. Acknowledge their challenges and help them look for ways to live with these challenges. Avoid always doing tasks for them, which creates dependency. I expected the athletes to carry their own belongings. Many were used to their parents always doing this for them. Expecting them to carry their own things helped the athletes and their parents learn how they could be self-sufficient. Strive to make them as independent as possible. It's quicker and easier to do a carb count and insulin adjustment for the student with diabetes, but taking the time to teach them how to do it themselves promotes independence and self-care. It's okay to challenge individuals with special needs to try physical tasks. With encouragement and support, kids can accomplish things they were hesitant to try. A little girl with cerebral palsy learned to push her wheelchair by herself short distances. A blind student learned to run using a guide rope. Rules and boundaries are important for everyone, including kids with special needs. Once explained in terms they could understand, I expected the students to follow the rules. If you ran into my office, you had to go back and walk in, even if that meant you had to go to the back of the line to wait your turn. If you ran outside your track lanes, you would be disqualified. Certainly there were tears over these things, but in the end, the students learned to follow the rules and accept the consequences. Very valuable life lessons. Finally, kids with special needs have a lot to say if you take the time to listen and communicate with them using their unique ways. Those who process information slowly give time to come up with the words they want to say. Learning to use simple sign language or an augmentative communication device demonstrates caring, builds trust, and relationships. It takes time, energy, and patience to work with individuals with special needs. It's also extremely rewarding and builds long-term friendships. It has made me a better and more compassionate person. I'm glad I had the opportunity to experience these things.
Let us rise in body or in spirit for our second hymn. Come sing a song with me, number 346. God of many names, mystery beyond all naming, ground of being. We witness a world on fire, literally and metaphorically. Headlines scream of cruelty and division. Children go hungry while others feast. The earth itself groans under the weight of our carelessness and our selfishness. Some days the suffering feels too vast, the darkness too deep. We are tempted to close our hearts rather than let them break again and again, to choose cynicism over hope, numbness over feeling, despair over the vulnerable act of caring. Yet, we gather. Proof that love persists. In every city, on every continent, hearts like ours beat with stubborn compassion. Strangers comfort strangers, neighbors feed neighbors. People choose justice when injustice would be easier. Remind us, Spirit of Life, that we are part of something larger than our individual capacity to heal. That every act of kindness creates ripples we'll never see. That the light of compassion, however small our flame, joins with countless others to push back the darkness. May we trust that love is stronger than fear, that justice is more powerful than oppression, that ordinary people choosing extraordinary kindness can and will transform this world. Amen. The first thing you need to know about Okinawa is it's more than 500 miles south of mainland Japan. The second thing is it's actually a subtropical South Pacific island, which means hot. A nice hot day to ride my brand new electric bike along. As I sat there looking out past perfectly clear water and coral reefs that rival the Great Barrier Reef, in fact, they're in better shape right now than the Great Barrier Reef. It really is an island paradise. And then I noticed my back tire, pancake flat. First time out. Did I mention hot? As I walked my 65-pound e-bike 7 kilometers, 3 miles? Back home, a loud sports car zoomed by me. Not any loud sports car. You see, the third thing you need to know about Okinawa is a favorite pastime of young service members is to buy cheap cars, install muffler amplifiers, and convert them into Tokyo Drift noise machines. So loud. It's like they're in Japan, they want to do the Tokyo Drift. I shot Mr. Fast and Furious a furious look. Not just any look. Behind my look was a history of American imperialism, Japanese annexation of Okinawa, the suppression of South Pacific Ryukyuan culture native to the island, the Battle of Okinawa, 30,000 soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines still occupying the island, and the delicate geopolitical balance of an island surrounded by Russia, China, North Korea. That look was for the history books, literally. Tack with the golden rule. If I were to use the golden rule to do unto Mr. Fast and Furious as I would have done to me, I might arrange for him to attend one of the cultural pilgrimages to the island's Peace Park that I used to conduct as a chaplain. Maybe educate him. I love being educated. I love being called into relationships. I might do unto him as I would want done to me. I also value things like obedience and quietude, respect for the local culture. That's what I want from him. And then the most curious thing happened. He stopped, turned around, and I braced for a confrontation starting with, "You got a problem?" Instead, he rolled down his window and said, "Hey, sir," he read the room, right? "Hey, sir, do you need a ride? Just throw your bike in back." He already had the door open. I looked at the custom leather upholstery. "Throw it in," he said. Along with my self-righteousness, I thought. A few years ago, I was introduced to something called the Platinum Rule. We all know the Golden Rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The Platinum Rule takes this a step further, as we heard in our reading. And in our story this morning too, right? Don't eat your classmates. Don't eat your fellow creatures. Treat others how they want to be treated. To do this, we have to know a little bit about the other person. The golden rule starts and ends with me. Treat them how I want to be treated. The Platinum Rule asks us to explore our shared values. What values did Mr. Marine Muffler Boy and I share? Not a lecture on etiquette or privilege. Not a history lesson. Not directions to a muffler repair shop. We talked on the way back to base. I learned he was proud to serve others. It was clear he wanted attention, but also respect. He wanted to get to know this officer that he happened to pick up by the side of the road. He wanted to be seen not only as a cool dude, but as someone who picks up a stranger by the side of the road. Well, that's a starting point. And truth, when I was a young 19-year-old airman, I had a very loud motorcycle, Honda CB750 with straight pipes. I didn't saw off the muffler, but Maybe someday, I thought, he'll be a 58-year-old captain riding an e-bike along the seawall. Maybe if I leaned into that encounter, he'll remember the connection and not my dirty look. He seemed to be over it quite quickly. The so-called platinum rule comes from the business world to sell people more stuff you probably don't need. But it invites us to get out of our experience and viewpoint to see the experiences of others, especially those who might view the world quite differently. The golden rule is often attributed to Jesus, who said, "In all things, do unto others as you would want them to do to you, for this is what the law and the prophets are all about." Whenever Jesus quotes the law, I'm always asking myself, what's beyond the law? But the original golden rule comes from Leviticus 19, not our favorite chapter, right? Which says, love your neighbor as yourself. But there's some nuance worth noting. The word neighbor in Leviticus, Ra, forgive my Hebrew, means simply a person who lives nearby, a member of your family or your tribe. In Matthew, the Greek word used for neighbor, plesion, means anyone in proximity and implicitly includes strangers, outcasts, widows, orphans, immigrants. They come to town, they qualify. Little shift there in the golden rule. My experience with Sergeant Tokyo Drift reminded me of all this and something my supervisor taught me when I was doing a residency as a hospital chaplain 20 years ago. One of our chaplain interns had just been thrown out of a hospital room by a patient hurling a colorful assortment of invectives at him. The distraught intern asked our chaplain supervisor, "What do you do when a person you're counseling says horrible things to you, or insults your faith, or is of a different faith, or doesn't profess any faith at all, or has a grudge against organized religion?" Person might have been a UU, right? The supervisor, using Christian language, you can adapt as needed. The supervisor leaned in and said without explanation, "I let them be Jesus for me. And if they curse religion, I let them be Jesus for me. If they yell at me to get out of their room, I let them be Jesus for me. If they drive an obnoxious car that is an affront to all that is peaceful and holy, you get the idea." In other words, stop trying to be the teacher and let the other teach you as if they were someone incredibly holy, incredibly worthy of respect. Think about that. That's a hard charge. It's the same flip we're using with the platinum rule, right? Let them teach you their story, their world, their life, their experience, and take it seriously as if a great teacher were in front of you, as if there was an opportunity. When you're the one reacting with judgment, expectation, or inflated self-righteousness, let the other be your teacher, rabbi, sensei, even if the lessons they offer are uncomfortable or painful. These moments when you let the other be a teacher for you can be large or small. They can be a minor annoyance when someone's car is too loud for your sensitive sensibilities. I'll own it. And you let their loudness be their message. Hey, buddy, love transfigures annoyance. These moments might be large and outrageous, like just about everything happening in the media today. And you let those audacious affronts to everything you hold dear and holy be the message. For with love, all things are possible. Love has the power to transfigure evil. What are we doing here if we don't believe, don't have faith in the motive power of love? While some moments are outrageous, others might also be heartbreaking, like the dismantling of democracy. Then love says, hold the world in an image of compassion, even when it's all you can do, especially when it's all you can do. Who told you the path of love was going to be easy? When I experienced those metaphorical loud cars, maybe a jarring news story or a MAGA hat, And I will say this is what came to mind earlier. I used to be very, very careful, more careful than now, about the Republican, Democratic, conservative, liberal divide that's always existed. Because something has shifted in our culture. And I used to be careful because a lot of we have a lot of people would come, not a lot, but a number of people would come to my office sometimes, and kind of in a moment of confession, and they go, "I'm a Republican. Do I belong here?" Because sometimes we're not always so welcoming to difference, right? Yes, you belong here. Yes, you belong here. So when I shift it to what's happening today, it is a different conversation than the normal politics, the normal differences that exist. I just wanted to name that. And so when I see those things that jar me, and maybe I'll move, who knows where we move. But I try to transform the annoyance, that outrage, that rage that I feel into what Buddhist Thich Nhat Hanh calls a bell of mindfulness. Different bell. This is the bell of mindfulness. That one only gets rung 3 times in worship. He taught that such encounters are not obstacles to insights, but rather bells that provide an opportunity to practice compassion. Instead of becoming frustrated, he uses the example of red lights in traffic. He suggests using the time to stop, relax, focus on breathing oneself back into the present moment. Turning the frustration into a teacher that invites you back to compassion. Sometimes I don't want to be compassionate with people who wield illegal mufflers. I'll get over it. You mentioned it a lot, huh? It's not just people who are easy to love who need compassion. Sometimes I'm not so easy to love either. And now every time I hear one of those wailing cars, this is true. Every time I hear one of those wailing cars, I try to think of it as a bell of mindfulness, imagining a driver who would pull over for some dude on an electric bike and drive me home. I'm still working on the MAGA hats. Now yesterday, this is the tricky part. This is, what do we do with the big stuff happening today? And yesterday, protesters gathered here at Haight Park and around Chicagoland to be heard at dozens of No King rallies. The last count, I think, was 2,800 rallies, and how many? 8 million people gathered around the country. I don't suspect that wannabe kings were interested in listening, but I wonder if we were listening with our hearts fully engaged. I wonder if the protesters felt heard. I wonder if the center-left and center-right politicians were listening, if any more exist. I even wonder sometimes, as I watch, I wonder if attending law enforcement felt heard. They may not have said anything, but what values do we share with them? Love for Rockford, love for family, hope for our nation. I think we're all hoping for something. Everyone is scared and embroiled in fear and confusion. And this is what some people want from us, fear and confusion. And so this is the flip. I may not have this right. But if we're talking about giving people what they want a political struggle, they want a constitutional crisis. So don't read me wrong in this sermon. We will stand up against oppression and implementation of an agenda of evil, as so many did yesterday. That is appropriate institutional engagement. And as my final kind of thought today, I want to tease apart this idea of individual engagement where we open our hearts to another sitting in front of us and institutional engagement where we confront the injustices of our time. Individual engagement, we can't maybe reach everyone, but who in your life can you reach? I mean, Thanksgiving tables are upon us. Families have not been easy these last few years. I'm angry about what's happening to our country, and I'm curious about what shared values might unite us again after this madness is over in our circles. I think we can hold both and still be committed to change. It's spiritual maturity, right? To be able to hold opposing values in tension without losing our minds. Again, I'm reminded of Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh, who watched the violence of the Vietnam War, where some of his fellow monks literally lit themselves on fire in protest, and yet he came out of all that anger and hate, a compassionate and curious person, one committed to and a leader of the peace movement. How do you do that? I want some of that secret sauce, some secret sauce of compassion. Maybe it's about paying attention to the news, not just to the news, but to how we carry all this, paying attention in our bodies, in our families, in our responses, in our engagements. We don't have all the answers. I wish it were this easy. Some sauce of compassion. Religion often promises easy answers to all this. Ours does not. So we do what love invites. We treat others not just as we want to be treated, but how they wish to be treated, with dignity and respect, curiosity and compassion. This idea even works the other way in our movement toward justice, as I just said a minute ago. Think of how many political figures today want us to fear them, want us to tremble, want us to shake. Now, we're not going to cower or shake, but we can meet them in the stark space created, where justice meets oppression. Maybe we can even hear the fear and hurt behind their hate without losing an ounce of our resolve. But if they want our attention, let us give it to them in resistance to fascist ideologies of division. If they want to see true patriots, I keep hearing this, true patriots stand up for core American values. How about of democracy and freedom? And let us be fearless as we profess love for everyone, no matter how or when they got to North America, how they vote, how we experience gender or love, how we hold so-called traditional or revolutionary ideas about family, how we worship, pray, or gather. Love demands all of this and more. This is our challenge. Who told us the path to love was going to be easy? Blessed be and amen. And so let us join in our final hymn, 168, with the appropriate message of one more step, because that's sometimes all we can do. Please rise in body or spirit. As we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community or the fire of commitment, these we carry in our hearts until we get together again. And while Linda extinguishes our chalice, I invite you to join hands for our benedictions. If you'd rather not be touched, please place your hands in your pockets or on your shoulders. Go out into the world, not to be perfect, but to practice, to be a practitioner of compassion. Wherever you go today, may you seed compassion. May your hands remember how to tend and your heart how to return when compassion is hard. For no garden grows in a day, but they grow. Go in peace. Blessed be, and amen. Now let us sing our closing benediction. As you may, blessed is the path you take. May love guide you on your way. Go away in peace. Wander in May. Blessed is the path we take. May love guide you on our way. Our worship is ended. Let our service begin. Have a blessed week.